నమస్కారం ప్రద్యుమ్న గారు. మీరు మా ఇంటికొచ్చినందుకు చాలా సంతోషం. మన మిత్రులు అనేక మంది ఈ వీడియో మాలికలో తమ తమ అనుభవాల్ని అందరితోటి పంచుకున్నారు. ఇలా అనుభవాలను పంచుకోవడం ద్వారా మన మధ్యలో ఉన్న అభిమానం, స్నేహం పెంపొందుతాయని చెప్పి నేను భావిస్తున్నాను. మీరు కూడా మీ అనుభవాల్ని మన మిత్రులందరితోటి పంచుకుంటే బావుంటుంది. ఇప్పుడు నేను చిన్న చిన్న ప్రశ్నలు 1, 2 అడుగుతాను. తద్వారా మనం సంభాషణను కొనసాగిద్దాం. ప్రద్యుమ్న గారు, మీ విద్యాభ్యాసం గురించి కొంచెం చెప్పండి.
I studied in St.GEORGE's Grammar School just for academic interest. The school was started in 1834.
1834. Gosh. What was happening in 1834? That was before the Sipai Mutiny.
It was Sipai Mutiny. It was oldest school of Hyderabad. Subsequently, I think All Saints was the next old, then Hyderabad Public School. So Hyderabad Public School now will be completing 100 years, but St. George's Grammar School is close to 200 years. By the time I joined the school was sliding, in fact. My father had a passion that his child should study in grammar school.
Grammar school. Oh, great.
And
what was your father? Was he
my father came down from village,
right,
when he was around 12 or 13 and started studying in 4th or 5th class.
Wow.
I think he studied in Chadarghat High School, government school.
Okay.
Then City College for his intermediate.
Very close by.
Yeah. Subsequently in Usmania University, he did his BSc Zoology. And then he joined his masters and discontinued his masters.
Okay.
And became a school teacher.
Right, great.
Was a school teacher for some of the personalities, revolutionaries, like Varvar Rao was a student.
ఏ స్కూల్లోనండి?
హన్మకొండ గవర్నమెంట్ హై స్కూల్,
హన్మకొండ గవర్నమెంట్ హై స్కూల్.
Yeah, he taught, which was his passion actually. I don't know why he changed his profession. From teacher, he became a forest range officer.
Wow, that's something. Is there a connection there with Varvar Rao? Was Varvar Rao in the forest and father was in the forest?
My
such connection.
See, we belong to a middle class family.
Okay.
Then those days, belonging to some communities in those days, in Telangana, that old Telangana, you had to do either a police job, a revenue job, or a forest job. Belonging to a Reddy community, that was a problem. So no one would appreciate you being a teacher, especially in 1940s and 50s.
Right.
So he joined forest department. Actually, he wanted to become a doctor and he missed out very narrowly, which was always, because his cousin became a doctor and he made a lot of money. So that was a thing for him. It used to always prick him. Not money, but that social stigma
being
and
a
all
doctor,
those things.
being popular, etc.
He admitted me into grammar school. By the time when I studied in grammar school, it was full of rich, spoiled children.
Oh, great. So you survived among those people.
I survived, but actually that had a lot of impact on me, because I come from a middle class family and had classmates who were very rich. It actually pushed me down. I lost my confidence studying in that school. That's why I took a decision when I was admitting my children. We were still middle class. I said there's no point in sending them into St. Anne's and all those things. I just admitted them into Chinmaya Vidyalaya. So that probably my father also never realized the impact it would have on me, because he had a passion that he had to send me to a good school. So
good school, yeah.
Out of his means, he had done that. Out of sacrificing his own comforts, he has done.
See that.
See, his love was that, but what impact it had for me, I also realized it much later when we started, when you grow up the ladder, you start understanding people, analyzing people.
Right.
That was the time when I realized that probably touch wood, whatever good had to happen at some time. At 10th, I said enough of grammar school.
Okay.
I got admitted into a government school, Alia.
Okay.
From there, I did my 10th class. And I was not great in academics. I was just somehow managed to pass. Probably it was double impact. Maybe that because the syllabus was so tough. I was told in those days, or 11th, 10th and 12th class papers used to go to London to get corrected.
Wow.
So
Maybe just a rumor.
I don't know. Probably at that time, because we were not into SSC. Those days we were into ICSC.
Okay.
We used to call ISC those days.
ISC.
Subsequently, they said ICSC, and so we used to have a different academic year also. Our academic year started in Jan and ended in December. So calendar year was our academic
That's
year.
something new.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about it.
So my elder brother was about 1 year, 10 months elder than me.
Older.
But academically, there was only 1 year difference. And that fellow used to go and tell he used to tell my dad, there are a lot of injustice. This fellow has been admitted into school when he was bloody 3.5 years. And this fellow is my classmate 1 year, half a year. So that was because Jan to June, he and me both used to be in the same class.
Right.
So he used to have that complaint. This fellow is almost 2 years younger than me, but for 6 months in a year, he is my classmate. So, but yeah, academically.
This is something very interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this kind of peculiar academic year. And the papers, examination papers going to London or wherever, right? If not London, even if they went to Bombay, it's something I haven't heard of.
See, there were 3 schools from where the papers used to have an academic schedule used to be totally different. It was HPS, Grammar Girls, Grammar Boys, and the other school was Vidyaranya, which was exactly opposite to Secretariat. The school was run by Raja Rameshwar Rao, who was MP of Vanaparthi. His wife used to run, Shantarama. So only these 3 schools had this syllabus. Otherwise, no other school in Hyderabad used to have that syllabus.
By any chance, was that an Anglo-Indian board or something?
Yeah, it was.
It was Anglo-Indian board. Okay.
But the change in me, my confidence came when I moved to Alia. Then I came into regular stream.
Right.
Then I was still not good at studies. Somehow.
But then that kind of inferiority complex had gone.
Yeah, that had gone. I sometimes feel later part I became overly aggressive also.
Okay. Were you showing it in sports or otherwise?
I'll come to it.
Okay.
Then I did my intermediate in Navy College.
Okay.
I wanted to take biology, but my father said, you're not good, so you have to take only mathematics.
Okay.
Because my brother was extremely good at studies, so he was given BPC choice. I was pushed into mathematics, which was still worse for me.
Oh, I see. Maths was scary.
It was scary. Somehow I completed my intermediate maths in first attempt. Then I wrote that was the second or third batch of MSET because I completed my 10th in 73.
Okay.
73, 10th, intermediate 75. I wrote that MSET, not MSET, that time it was called engineering entrance, I think, or some entrance. I don't
examination.
Even. MSET name came much later.
Much later, yeah.
Somehow I qualified that. And I was in a waiting list. My rank was, say, 450. 450.
Yeah. Good rank?
Decent rank, actually. Decent rank, I don't know. I got it, and then I went for third round of counseling because there were hardly 100 engineering seats.
Right.
Third round of counseling, I don't know why I went. Then another thing is that time once I felt that my intermediate score was and rank was not great, I wanted to do BA literature.
Wow.
English literature.
Wow.
Father, being a science graduate, he said, nothing doing. You have to do BSc. So I did not apply in any college for seat. Only Nizam College BSc, I knew I will not get a seat.
Wow. Why there was so much of competition?
Third class I passed. Intermediate third class, where will you get limited seats?
Okay.
So, but I was adamant I did not apply, and then finally I took admission into BCom
Mm.
in an evening college.
Oh. Oh, there were evening colleges in
Colleges,
those
yeah.
days. Okay.
So I took admission there, and then I was called for a third round of counseling in Usman University Engineering College. By we, I had a small sports certificate representing Hyderabad district in volleyball. I went for that, and then they said, okay, we'll give you mining, BE mining.
Mining. Very good. Ah,
But the
interesting.
problem was the college was not in Hyderabad, it was in Kottagudem.
Naturally, they have mines in Kottagudem.
Kottagudem. So that school of mines was started in Kottagudem. So
Mm.
while discussing, they said there are 2 seats left over for B Farm.
Mm.
B Farm, what happened earlier year, it started in Hyderabad, but lack of funds, it was being shifted to Warangal.
Oh.
Because we had some committee called as Telangana Regional Committee at that time. They said if you shift the course to Warangal, we will fund that cost.
Okay.
So because of that, I took admission. Instead of going to Kottagudem, I'll go to Warangal. That's how I joined B Farm. I had no idea what I will do after joining B Farm.
B Farm.
We got admitted into B Farm. There was no hostel, and the college where Satyanarayana graduated, that was the first classroom was given in that arts and science college, Warangal, because it was subsidiary of Usman University. We went there, we did our first and second year there. For some classes we used to go to medical college, some classes we used to go to engineering college.
Yeah, some laboratories here, some laboratories
some
there.
labs to engineering college. Some 2 years were over. Third year we went in an agitation. We said nothing doing unless we have a fixed college. So that is where this over aggression started.
Oh, I see. So you became a student union guy.
Yeah, I was student union leader. I was the joint secretary of the university. I had a unique distinction of being affiliated with all the political parties or systems.
Okay.
I was initially a part of RSU PDSU group, which is the radical left.
Okay. Yeah, RSU PDSU. Now I recollect.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was part of them. Subsequently, how to defeat them, I brought Congress, BJP, ABVP, SFI together.
Wow.
I was the convener for that.
BJP, pro-communist, both of them were pro-Congress. All of them were
to
brought
fight
together.
the extreme left.
Extreme left.
And I was a convener for that group, in fact, in the university level.
Great. Okay, that's very nice.
So,
but did you by any chance meet Varavar Rao in those days?
Yeah, I met.
Okay.
I met him in Professor Hargopal's house. But I didn't tell him because father later told me that Varavar Rao was my student. I never met him because after that I became a sworn enemy for them. They were
naturally because you had defeated them. Yeah. Now I'm reminded about an incident. I was in Anuku at that time and I was reading a newspaper, and then suddenly I saw a small little news item saying that Vasundhara was elected for the Students' Union in Falana College in Gannavar. The name is my sister's name, right? I think there was a photo also. I'm not sure. My memory is not good. But it can be. This is what I thought, So a few days later, I was returning to my native place for my month-end kind of leave. Stopped at her school. I asked her, I saw a news item. Was it somebody with the same name? She said, no, it was me. Right? Subsequently, the Students' Federation approached her and asked her to be a representative on their behalf. She declined. And when the news spread out, the other guys came and said, Vasundhara, you should stand on our behalf. And she was elected. She was elected again as Gannavaram was a hotbed of leftists in those days. And my father was a card-holding member of the Communist Party for more than 45 years. So people came and asked my father, how is that your daughter is your daughter has won. They too didn't know that she was contesting. She had won the election. How did you permit this? He said, I'm not aware. I don't know what she was doing. Right? He would not interfere in our affairs, nor he would force his ideology on us. There are some families where the father was a Congress and so they become Congress. Father was a communist, the son becomes a communist. It didn't happen in our family. So, similar, without my father's knowledge, without,
Oh, my dad, my father, had he been aware that I'm venturing into politics, he would have said, no, come down to Hyderabad.
Right, surely. And it's quite dangerous because
it was
in those
dangerous.
days,
There were physical challenges, attacks on my hostel room. There were instances where about 150 students came to attack me in a hostel mess.
How did you manage?
I had one thing: if there are 150 people who want to attack you, no one will attack you. I did not run. I just boldly stood there.
Right.
There'll be 3 or 4 people who will ask and come and stop them. And exactly that.
Right. That was a remarkable incident, See, from a boy who was suffering from some kind of an inferiority complex, shedding all that inferiority complex, rising up to be a leader, and facing the challenge of these extremists who are supported by the extremists once again, right? I know these guys had killed students.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And one of the guys who was the president at that time got elected. He was finally caught in Bangalore by, I think, during Rajshekar Reddy's time or slightly before that. And he was shot dead in Bangalore. I think it was catching him and taking him.
Staged encounter,
staged
whatever.
encounter. And amount of money, I'm talking in 1990 or 95, which was unearthed from him, it was about 1.5 crores, and he was an Naxalite. All in Indira Vikas Patras.
Indira Vikas Patras. Now, Naxalites were making money and lending money, believe me. I was working for a project and that needed funding, from banks and, other sources. And one of the telephone calls received by the MD was from this group. There were 2 groups. One was from Tamil Nadu, from the DMK or whatever it was. They had a lot of black money, and these guys had a lot of black money. And of course, people are scared because if you don't deliver on a deadline, you're dead.
Yeah, then
you're dead. Right.
So I think that was a phase of going. Probably there are 2 things. One is moving out of your home and going into a area where people were of your financial standards, which has really opened up. All that shedding of the inferiority complex, everything went off. And finally, in 1980, we graduated from Warangal. And for about a year, I was deciding what to do. Should I go into industry? Should I go into post-graduation? As it is not a great academic, but still that fascination to do PG was there, because one of my classmates, he was as good or as bad as me. He said, Pradyumna, I got a seat in M-Farm in Goa. I said, Goa ko ja kahan kaun padta hai yaar? Goa mein koi, even in those days, who would go to Goa and study? Studies. Then, meanwhile, one of my 1 year senior to me, he joined Sarabais.
Okay.
He was good student.
Right.
But somehow he decided, I'll tell you the reason why we thought about not going into manufacturing was I used to get about, as you rightly said, I used to get about 250 rupees for my monthly expenditure from my home. Above that, somehow we managed to see that the hostel bill we don't get.
Okay.
We applied for some economically backward class certificate
Okay.
or manipulated certificates. We got that benefit. So 250 rupees in 1978-79 was a big amount. We didn't know what to do with that money. In fact, we used to purchase all North Star shoes and all those. Never asked parents money for those type of things.
Oh, all those small luxuries.
So all right, okay, whatever we are sending, this fellow is saving and purchasing. I went for an interview with Series
Okay.
manufacturing.
Okay.
I was interviewed for, and then he said, you can come from tomorrow.
Right.
I said, what is that you are going to pay me? He said, 300 rupees.
Series LB Nagar.
Okay. I said, I used to spend 250 rupees doing nothing. Now 300 rupees I had to work 8 hours a day. I said, no, I'll not join. Then I came back home. I said, my parents were asking, what is your plan? I said, either I'll go to US. Okay. Or I don't know what else I'll do. Subsequently, this my friend Lakshmi Narayana, who is now settled in US, he joined Sarabhai and he came over. He was a person, if he has 10 classmates, 8 of them will shun away from him because he's quite irritating. One person,
very arrogant or something?
Not arrogant, he was a different class.
Okay.
One person would like to change him.
Okay.
And I would say, Lakshmi Narayana, how are you?
Okay.
That fellow, every week, every month, after sales closing, Sarabhai, he was Mahbub Nagar rep. So
Okay.
Sarabhai in Mahbub Nagar in 1980s, you can believe.
Okay.
Yeah, West Godavari used to have about 4 or 5 reps. So Mahbub Nagar, they'll have one. Then 2 or 3 consecutive months, he came and took me to some Chinese restaurants for dinner.
Okay.
People were surprised, all my classmates, this fellow coming and spending money on you. Then I said, okay, let me become medical rep because anyhow, communication was always there for me. So that's how I became a medical rep.
Oh, great.
So my first interview was at Sarabhai's. I went for final round of interview. I was not given a job in Sarabhai because there was another person from the same, my college only, but the posting was in Nirmal and that fellow was native of Nirmal.
Nirmal, okay.
So Mr. V.S. Ramarao, he said, Pradyumna, I'll give it to Rajgopal because Rajgopal will stay there for some time. I'm sure if I pick you up,
you'd like to come
you'll
back
ask
to
me for a transfer to Hyderabad.
Okay.
And already Hyderabad is full, so I don't. Sorry, if there is any opportunity later, I'll consider it. Subsequently, I don't know how the communication came. SG Pharma had a vacancy. So Ramarao Garu, he recommended me to SG.
Okay, that's great.
That's how I entered SG.
Vadapalli Ramarao garu.
Yeah. And Madan Sanaka. Madan Sanaka was also there. So both of them said.
Okay.
So
who was the chief in SG in those days? Shastri garu undevara?
No, one Mr. Dhanraj Naidu was in charge for Hyderabad side.
Okay.
Anantramaya was for Coastal Andhra. Okay. So Dhanraj Naidu, I had to, in spite of the recommendation, I had to go through all the process again. Those days. So Dhanraj Naidu interviewed me 1 round, 2 rounds. Final round, I was surprised to see those days Managing Director, Mr. Kamath, joint Managing Director, one Mr. Duggal, and I think Sales Promotion Manager. All 3 came down. In between, 1 round of interview was with Mr. Dakshinamurthy.
Dakshinamurthy garu.
All 3 of them came for that seriousness in those days for. And It was interesting to see that in the last round, when they wanted to select 3 candidates, there were 18 people, and we were put out for a debate.
Hmm.
And I was initially calm because there were a lot of people who were trying to outshout each
Yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah. That was the style in those
that was the
days.
style in those days. Then after everyone's stream was over, I started talking, and they selected me. They said, "You are going to be in Hyderabad."
I think your high school, grounding in language and communication had stood,
that
in
helped.
favor of you.
That was only positive thing of going to grammar school, I felt. But I felt the people who were academically good, in spite of that culture, they never had this problem. They are friends with me even now.
Right.
Guys who went to IITs from grammar
Mm.
school, they gelled into the system.
Right.
But the person probably who was not academically great and not financially great had a struggle. Or probably I don't know, maybe it could be my personality which did not set me down.
No, I'm very glad that you are discussing your failure as well as your success. Most people would like to hide the failures and then, talk about their successes. But here, in your case, you were able to overcome your own drawback, your own shortcoming, and then rose above that and became a leader, faced the danger, physical danger, and then, you shed all that background and, merged with the mainstream life. And I'm very happy about it. I'm very happy to know all these details. Even if I had met half a dozen times without this interview, I'm sure I wouldn't have learned any of this background. Huh?
Yeah, probably I've expressed this view only to my children and my wife.
Okay.
I never told to my brother or my.
Okay. It was so nice of you to come and share your knowledge with us. Thank you very much,
Right.
Pradyumna. We'll certainly meet on another occasion and then have some more conversations. మెర్క్ ద్వారా మనందరికీ పరిచయమైనటువంటి ప్రద్యుమ్న గారు తమ యొక్క అనుభవాలని మనతో పంచుకున్నారు. ప్రద్యుమ్న గారికి ధన్యవాదాలు. ఈ వీడియో మీ అందరికీ నచ్చుతుందని చెప్పి నేను అభిప్రాయపడుతున్నాను. ఈ వీడియో ద్వారా మనందరి మధ్యన ఉన్న అనుబంధం పెరుగుతుందని భావిస్తున్నాను. మీరు మన ప్రసాదే అని కాకుండా ఈ వీడియోని లైక్ చేయండి, సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి, బెల్ ఐకాన్ నొక్కండి. తద్వారా నాకు ప్రోత్సాహాన్ని ఇవ్వండి. నమస్కారం.